The courtroom is quiet, but the silence is palpable. All eyes are on the witness stand where secrets that could destroy this family are about to be exposed. Kody's hands shake as he holds onto the railing and Robin's voice breaks, begging for the truth. And then Christine pulls out a bombshell that no one, including the judge, was expecting. What comes next might make all the difference, and nothing will ever be the same again. The courtroom doors open creaking, and a hush settles over everyone in the room. The air is thick with anticipation, almost like the quiet before a storm. And Kody enters first, shoulders tight, eyes flicking nervously around each of his wives sitting across the aisle, their faces twisted in fear, defiance, and silent calculation. While the judge looks over her glasses, her eyes scanning the room with the ferocity that makes even the most seasoned attorneys squirm uncomfortably in their seats, and as the hearing gets underway, the first witness is called. Mary, normally quiet, normally reserved, now standing, hands clasped so tightly her knuckles grow white, poised to give testimony that could tip the thin balance of their already troubled family about moments from years ago, with a voice that shakes but refuses to break, describing late-night fights that never seem to end. Betrayals, whispered behind closed doors, and promises that were broken so quietly no one thought to notice until too late. While outside the courtroom, the whispers of reporters and family friends rise up, their speculation fueling tension inside, and Christine sits forward, eyes narrowing, lips pressed into a hard line, waiting her turn, knowing each word here can be used against her or for her. Each nod from Robin like a challenge, each slight shift in Janelle's posture a question. And as the prosecutor stands, the room holds its collective breath, presenting the case with the precision of a surgeon, detailing custody fights, money differences, and charges of favoritism that have simmered for years, painting a picture of a family that seems united on the surface but is breaking apart at its very core. And before Kody can answer, the defense attorney slaps down on the table a document, a set of emails and texts between the wives that no one anticipated seeing. The words on the page hinting alliances no one had confessed, secrets that could break reputations. And right here, the tension is so thick, you can practically feel it pressing down onto your chest, making you wonder, who will emerge when all is said and done? Kody swallows hard, attempting to cover the sudden fear welling in his chest, and the camera cuts to Robin, her eyes shining as she struggles to keep her composure, her voice now shaken slightly as she sets out to tell her side, recounting late-night confessions and secret conversations that unveil cracks in trust. Moments when she felt alone, misunderstood, or betrayed, and every eye in the courtroom follows her every move. Some nodding sympathetically, some glaring judgmentally, while Janelle mutters something under her breath to her lawyer, a hint of strategy in her voice, and as questioning delves deeper into emotional ground, the past and present converge. Memories of shared laughter, family celebrations, and intimate secrets laid against accusations, arguments, and distrust. The air within the courtroom almost electric with unspoken tension, and Christine stands, finally able to make her voice heard, sharp and clear, reliving her frustrations, pointing out perceived injustices, and indicating patterns she believes have been overlooked. And with every word, the audience can feel allegiances shift subtly, loyalties tested, the delicate fabric of family hanging by a thread. Every revelation here feels like a small earthquake, rocking the very ground beneath their feet and leaving everyone wondering what they believed they knew about love, loyalty, and truth. And just when it seems that the session may settle into procedural testimony, a stunning piece of evidence is dropped, an audio recording secretly kept that records a conversation between Kody and one of the wives regarding matters of inheritance and decision-making, and the courtroom breaks into whispers, gasps, and furious scribbling of notes, the judge slamming her gavel for order, demanding order, and as the camera lingers over each face, the shock in Kody's eyes, the barely suppressed anger in Christine's, the subtle fear in Robin's, the cautious calculation in Janelle's, and the quiet resignation in Mary's. The tension builds further, laying the groundwork for battles that will reach its pitch in future sessions. And whilst this is only the start, you can tell that the truth won't come cheaply, and every second from here on in will compel them to make choices, suffer consequences, and reveal secrets they never dreamed would see the light of day, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, desperate to see who will crack first, who will fight hardest, and who will walk away from this courtroom forever transformed. The courtroom is charged with a new kind of tension as session 2 begins, the air thick with anticipation and unspoken fear, and every pair of eyes is glued to Kody, whose normally confident posture now betrays uncertainty, his hands fidgeting with the edge of his suit jacket as if the very fabric could anchor him against the storm of revelations about to unfold, while Robin's gaze is fixed, unwavering yet filled with hurt, as she prepares to testify about the moments she felt most abandoned, most unseen, recounting whispered conversations in dark hallways and promises that had once seemed sacred but were now broken, each word slicing through the courtroom like a knife. And as she speaks, her voice wavers, carrying the weight of years of suppressed emotions. Tears threatening to fall as she describes nights spent awake, wondering if her place in the family mattered at all, and Christine leans forward, eyes narrowing, jaw tight, ready to pounce on any inconsistency, every syllable carefully measured as she interrupts only to clarify, to challenge, to ensure the story unfolds exactly how she believes it should. While Janelle's expression is one of controlled chaos, her hands folded neatly on her lap but trembling slightly beneath the surface, and Mary sits quietly, almost invisible. Yet every subtle twitch of her fingers tells a story of anxiety and apprehension. And right here, the tension is palpable. You can almost hear hearts pounding as these sisters navigate the minefield of truth, betrayal, and family loyalty, each revelation threatening to unravel everything they've tried to keep together when the prosecutor calls Kody to the stand, his normally smooth voice now cracking under scrutiny, and he is forced to recount decisions he made in private, choices he thought would protect the family, but which instead have become fuel for accusations. The defense attorney pressing, probing, twisting words in ways that leave him stumbling, while the wives watch with a mix of satisfaction, pain, and disbelief, knowing that what comes next could redefine their relationships forever. And just as the session seems to reach a temporary lull, the judge allows the introduction of a confidential letter, one that had been hidden for years, containing raw, unfiltered thoughts from Kody to one of the wives, thoughts that reveal intentions, doubts, and fears. And as this letter is read aloud, every listener feels the ground shift beneath them, the weight of honesty and betrayal colliding in a way that leaves no one untouched, tears glistening in eyes around the room, breaths held tight in chests, the atmosphere thick with suspense as questions hang unanswered, accusations teetering on the edge of confrontation, and just when the emotional intensity seems unbearable, a surprise witness is called. Someone from outside the family, someone who has been silently observing, someone whose testimony threatens to shatter preconceived notions and force everyone to question what is real and what has been carefully fabricated. Their statements revealing a side of Kody and the wives that no one expected, alliances and rivalries suddenly cast in a new light, and in the midst of it all, Robin breaks down, her voice cracking as she delivers a heartfelt plea, a moment so raw it silences the courtroom, and even the most composed observers find themselves leaning in, captivated by her vulnerability. And right at this emotional peak, you can feel the pull. Every revelation, every tear, every gasp keeps you on the edge, making you desperate to see what happens next. The tension ratcheting higher as Christine and Janelle exchange heated whispers. Mary clutches her notes with renewed intensity, and Kody struggles to regain composure, each moment amplifying the stakes, the fragility of relationships, and the inevitable clash that is only moments away, leaving viewers wondering who will falter first, who will rise, and who will be left picking up the pieces after the truth finally erupts into the open, setting the stage for even more shocking revelations in the sessions to come. The courtroom feels suffocating as session 3 begins, every corner shadowed by tension, every breath measured, and Kody's normally commanding presence now seems fragile, a man on the verge of unraveling as the spotlight turns sharply on him, while the wives sit poised like a storm about to break, their expressions a mixture of fear, anger, and anticipation. And as the judge calls the room to order, Robin rises again, this time with an intensity that shakes the very air, recounting private confrontations and late-night arguments with a trembling voice, revealing a series of secrets and betrayals that had long been buried, the words dripping with both hurt and accusation, painting a vivid picture of a family fractured not just by circumstances but by choices made in shadows. and Christine leans forward, eyes ablaze, cutting in with pointed questions, her tone sharp, precise, a blade honed. For confrontation, highlighting inconsistencies and forcing Kody to defend decisions he thought were harmless. While Janelle's hands clench and unclench, her mind racing as she recalls moments of feeling unseen, unheard, moments that now seem small but have left invisible scars. And Mary, often quiet, now speaks softly but with piercing clarity, her voice carrying the weight of years of overlooked feelings, and right here, the suspense is almost unbearable. You can feel the tension pressing against the walls, the air thick with anticipation of what explosive truth will come next. The prosecutor steps in, pushing for clarity, presenting financial documents and communication logs that reveal hidden alliances and subtle manipulations. Each piece of evidence acting like a spark in a powder keg threatening to ignite conflict at any moment. And just as Kody begins to respond, the courtroom. Doors swing open unexpectedly, and a new witness enters. A former close family friend whose testimony promises to shift the narrative entirely, recounting observations and private conversations that expose the fragile underpinnings of loyalty, trust, and deception within the household. Their words cutting deeper than any legal argument, forcing each wife to confront uncomfortable realities, and the camera lingers on Robin's face, glistening with tears. Her composure slipping as she realizes the impact of long-hidden truths, while Christine smirks subtly, sensing a tactical advantage. Janelle bites her lip, torn between shock and concern, and Mary exhales shakily, bracing for the storm of emotions to come. This is the moment where the emotional stakes skyrocket, where every secret laid bare makes the audience hold their breath, desperate to see who will crack and who will endure. Kody fumbles to explain himself, each word weighed down by guilt and regret, while the judge, her face stoic yet eyes sharp, listens intently, occasionally interjecting with pointed questions that expose more than they conceal. And as the testimonies pile up, the courtroom becomes a tense arena of emotion and revelation, a battle not just over facts, but over perception, loyalty, and love. And just when it seems the chaos might settle, Robin drops a statement so raw, so cutting, that it stuns everyone into silence, hinting at a betrayal no one could have predicted, leaving viewers on edge, hearts racing, desperate to know how Kody and the wives will navigate this new upheaval, and what the fallout will mean for their fragile bonds. The session ends on this cliffhanger. The echoes of whispered accusations and tense glares lingering, promising that the next confrontation will be even more emotionally charged, even more suspenseful, and that nothing in this courtroom or in this family will ever be the same again. The tension in the courtroom reaches a fever pitch as session 4 begins. Every face taut with anxiety, every eye darting between Kody and his wives, the air almost vibrating with unspoken accusations. And Kody steps forward, shoulders squared but trembling slightly, knowing that everything about him, every decision, every misstep is about to be dissected in front of the world, while Robin rises with a mixture of determination and raw vulnerability, her voice quivering yet resolute as she recounts the nights she spent questioning her place in the family, moments when she felt unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. Every word a strike that exposes fractures previously hidden, and Christine leans forward, a predator in her own right, eyes narrowed, lips pressed into a thin line, ready to pounce on any hint of weakness, cutting into testimonies with surgical precision, highlighting perceived betrayals, inconsistencies, and secrets that have festered for years, while Janelle's fingers tap nervously against the armrest, her mind racing through memories she had hoped would remain buried, now forced into the harsh light of scrutiny, and Mary, quietly observing, suddenly speaks up, her tone soft yet haunting, revealing emotional wounds that had been carefully concealed, and right here, the suspense is nearly unbearable. You can feel every heartbeat in the room, every unspoken thought, every trembling breath, leaving viewers on edge, desperate to see what will unfold next, as the judge, her expression unreadable, motions for silence, allowing the most shocking piece of evidence yet. A series of secretly recorded conversations between Kody and one of the wives, capturing moments of doubt, anger, and private confessions, moments that were never meant to be heard. And as the recordings play, the courtroom gasps, whispers erupt, and the wives' faces shift dramatically. Robin's shock turning into sorrow, Christine's surprise transforming into smoldering fury, Janelle's anxiety morphing into cautious calculation, and Mary's quiet resignation deepening. This is the moment that changes everything. The fragile balance of loyalty, love, and trust hanging by a thread, making every viewer feel like they are witnessing a private apocalypse. Kody tries to respond, stumbling over words, his carefully constructed defenses unraveling as each new revelation strikes like lightning, while the prosecutor methodically points out contradictions, alliances, and long-buried disputes, ensuring that the emotional stakes are sky-high, and just when it seems that the weight of the courtroom could crush him, Robin delivers a heart-wrenching statement about betrayal, love, and the fear of losing her family, her voice cracking under the intensity of her emotions, leaving the audience holding their breath. And at this exact emotional peak, you can feel the pull of the drama. Every revelation, every tear, every gasp pulling you deeper. Refusing to let go, Christine interrupts, her tone icy and unforgiving, challenging Kody on matters of fairness, priorities, and the truth of past actions. And Janelle and Mary exchange fleeting glances that speak volumes, unspoken alliances, and tensions laying bare in subtle gestures. While outside the courtroom, the whispers of media and onlookers grow louder, the ripple effects of the revelations inside echoing far beyond the walls. And as the session draws toward its climax, a surprise witness is called, a confidant who had observed the family dynamics for years, ready to testify to secrets that will upend everything the wives thought. They knew, leaving viewers at the edge of their seats, hearts racing, desperate to see who will break first, who will strike back, and who will emerge victorious. The scene ending with Kody frozen in the center of the room, the wives staring him down, the judge's gavel poised to bring order, and a silence so heavy it feels as though the very walls are holding their breath, promising that what comes next will be a confrontation. None of them, or the audience, will ever forget. The courtroom feels like it's on the verge of collapse as Session 5 begins, every breath heavy, every glance charged with unspoken accusations. And Kody steps forward, his usual composure shattered, his hands trembling slightly as he prepares to face the storm of questions that could change everything, while Robin rises, her voice steady but thick with emotion, recounting years of hidden pain, moments when she felt unseen, unheard, and doubted, describing long nights of quiet desperation and whispered conversations that revealed cracks in trust, every word echoing through the room like thunder. And Christine leans forward, sharp-eyed and relentless, ready to dissect Kody's every statement, her tone a mixture of fury and calculated precision, highlighting betrayals and inconsistencies with a ruthless intensity, while Janelle shifts in her seat, a mixture of apprehension and determination, crossing her face, reflecting the internal struggle of wanting to speak yet fearing the consequences. And Mary, usually quiet, finally speaks with measured clarity, exposing emotional wounds and subtle manipulations that have gone unnoticed for years. And right here, the tension is so thick it feels almost physical. You can sense every heartbeat, every tremor of doubt, every whispered thought, keeping viewers glued to their screens, desperate for what comes next as the prosecutor brings forth more evidence, financial records, private messages, and notes that suggest hidden alliances, favoritism, and decisions made behind closed doors, each revelation hitting the family like a tidal wave. And just when Kody begins to respond, he's interrupted by an unexpected testimony from a long-trusted family friend, someone whose words expose truths that even the wives hadn't anticipated, forcing everyone to reassess their perceptions, their loyalty, and their trust. And as Robin listens, tears stream down her face, her voice cracking as she pleads for understanding, for acknowledgement, for a sense of justice that seems just out of reach. This moment of raw vulnerability is a retention booster. Every viewer can feel the weight of her pain, the stakes of the conflict, and the fragility of family ties. Christine seizes the moment, her tone cutting and relentless, pressing Kody on past decisions, highlighting the patterns of secrecy and favoritism, while Janelle exchanges fleeting looks with Mary, silent conversations conveyed through subtle gestures, the undercurrent of tension and emotion running deep. And as the session progresses, the judge allows the introduction of an old video recording, one capturing a private conversation filled with candid admissions, unintended confessions, and glimpses of motives previously hidden. The courtroom collectively holding its breath as the truths unfold, each revelation intensifying the emotional strain. Every word spoken here is like a spark in dry kindling, igniting suspense, drama, and anticipation that keeps viewers hooked. Kody struggles to defend himself, voice strained, composure slipping, while the wives react with a mix of heartbreak, fury, and strategic calculation. And the tension reaches its peak when a final twist is revealed. A previously unknown interaction between two of the wives that casts doubt, fuels suspicion, and threatens to upend the fragile equilibrium the family has maintained for years, leaving everyone in the courtroom frozen, gasping, and questioning everything they thought they knew. And right at this edge of your seat moment, you feel the pull of the drama, the emotional intensity, and the suspense, desperate to find out how this family will survive the fallout, who will reconcile, and who will walk away forever changed. Ending the session with the gavel suspended midair, eyes locked on Kody, and a silence so thick it feels like the calm before the next storm, promising that the emotional and suspenseful unraveling is far from over, and the next sessions will only go deeper into the secrets, betrayals, and confrontations that define this family's fate. The courtroom opens to an almost unbearable tension in Session 6, each face etched with anxiety, anticipation, and the unspoken knowledge that nothing will remain the same after today. And Kody steps forward, his hands gripping the railing, jaw tight, voice wavering as he tries to explain choices that have long been questioned, while Robin rises again, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, recounting moments of abandonment and quiet desperation, the kind of pain that leaves invisible scars. Her voice breaking yet unwavering as she details late-night arguments, whispered secrets, and promises that were silently shattered. And Christine leans forward like a hawk ready to strike, piercing Kody's defenses with precision, her words sharp, accusatory, and unforgiving, exposing inconsistencies and challenging his motives, while Janelle fidgets, torn between fear and fury, silently processing every revelation, and Mary's usually quiet demeanor transforms into a haunting clarity as she speaks, revealing subtle manipulations, overlooked grievances, and emotional betrayals that have festered in the shadows for years. And right here, the suspense hits a new high. Every revelation, every accusation, every tear is designed to grip viewers so tightly they can't look away, desperate to see the fallout, as the judge allows the introduction of a new series of letters, private correspondence that had never been seen before, containing candid confessions, accusations, and long-hidden truths, each sentence like a spark, igniting tension and uncertainty. And just when it seems Kody may find a moment of relief, a surprise witness, a former employee of the family business, enters, ready to testify about private interactions, favoritism, and decisions that undermine trust, forcing the wives to reconsider what they thought they knew, their expressions flickering between shock, anger, and disbelief. This is a retention boost moment. The audience is on the edge, hearts pounding, wondering who will falter under the weight of truth and who will emerge unscathed. Kody stumbles through his defense, voice cracking under scrutiny, while Robin's raw emotion fills the room, tears rolling freely as she pleads for acknowledgement and justice. And Christine seizes every opportunity to highlight betrayals, challenging Kody on both personal and financial matters, while Janelle and Mary exchange fleeting glances, communicating silently with gestures and subtle expressions, the tension building almost unbearably. And as the session escalates, an explosive revelation is introduced. A secret meeting between two of the wives discussing strategies and grievances previously unknown to Kody, the content shaking the family dynamic to its core, and at this exact moment, the emotional intensity is at a peak. The suspense, betrayal, and heartbreak combine to make viewers lean forward, desperate for resolution. Kody's composure finally cracks, his voice trembling as he tries to navigate the storm of accusations, while the wives react in ways that expose their deepest fears, hidden resentments, and unresolved conflicts. The courtroom, a microcosm of chaos and revelation, and just as the gavel is about to fall, signaling a brief recess, a final bombshell is dropped. A recorded message that challenges everything the family believed about loyalty, love, and honesty, leaving viewers breathless, hearts racing, desperate to know how Kody and the wives will survive this unraveling, who will reconcile, and who will be forever changed. Ending session 6 on a cliffhanger so tense that the anticipation for the next session becomes irresistible, promising that the drama, secrets, and emotional confrontations will escalate even further. Session 7 begins with the courtroom electric, every eye locked on Kody as he stands, shoulders tense, jaw tight, knowing that the revelations of today could shatter the fragile equilibrium of his family. While Robin rises with a mixture of determination and vulnerability, her voice quivering yet commanding as she recounts moments of betrayal, isolation, and unspoken pain, detailing how promises once sacred were quietly broken and trust silently eroded, each word hitting like a thunderclap across the courtroom. And Christine leans forward, her eyes sharp, lips pressed into a thin line, ready to exploit every hesitation, every slip, and every trembling word, dissecting Kody's testimony with precision, her tone both accusatory and unwavering, while Janelle fidgets, torn between fear, anger, and loyalty, silently weighing every word, and Mary's usually quiet demeanor now projects a quiet but cutting clarity as she exposes emotional neglect and subtle manipulations, and right here, the suspense is almost unbearable. Every revelation, every tear, every glance holds the audience captive, making them desperate to see the consequences unfold, as the prosecutor introduces yet another set of evidence. Emails, text messages, and hidden notes that reveal private alliances, secret strategies, and decisions made behind closed doors, each disclosure a spark threatening to ignite a storm. And just as Kody attempts to defend himself, a surprise witness, someone intimately familiar with the family's private affairs, enters and recounts conversations and observations that challenge every assumption, turning the courtroom upside down, forcing each wife to confront truths that leave them stunned, their expressions a mixture of shock, fury, and heartache. And Robin breaks down, her voice cracking as she delivers a heartfelt appeal, laying bare the weight of her emotional struggles and the fear of losing her family. This is the retention booster. Viewers are drawn in, hearts pounding, unable to look away as the tension crescendos. Christine seizes the moment, her words icy, strategic, and relentless, challenging Kody on his integrity and the impact of his actions, while Janelle and Mary exchange subtle glances, communicating unspoken fears and questions. The emotional intensity layering over every word spoken, and then comes the explosive revelation. A previously hidden video surfaces, capturing a private conversation between two of the wives plotting strategies that Kody was unaware of, exposing fractures, miscommunications, and unacknowledged resentments that have been festering for years. The courtroom erupting in whispers, gasps, and stunned silence. And at this exact peak of suspense and emotion, viewers are pulled deeper into the drama, hearts racing, desperate to know who will break, who will retaliate, and who will be left questioning everything they thought they knew. Kody struggles to maintain composure as the weight of the evidence presses down on him. The wives' reactions a mixture of vindication, sorrow, and calculated restraint. And as the judge calls for order, allowing a brief recess, the tension lingers like a storm cloud, every heartbeat echoing the uncertainty of what will happen when the session resumes, promising that the final confrontation, the ultimate truths, and the resolution of these intertwined emotional battles will be even more gripping, more suspenseful, and more unforgettable, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, unable to turn away and desperate for the climactic Session 8 to reveal who will emerge victorious, who will be forever changed, and what the true cost of love, loyalty, and betrayal will be in this fractured family. The courtroom is electric as Session 8 begins, the air thick with anticipation, every eye fixed on Kody, whose composure is stretched to its breaking point, shoulders tense, jaw tight, hands gripping the railing as though it could anchor him against the storm of revelations about to explode. And Robin rises first, her voice trembling with raw emotion yet commanding attention as she recounts the deepest, most personal betrayals, moments when she felt unseen, unheard, and abandoned. Every word slicing through the courtroom like a sharpened blade, while Christine leans forward, her expression fierce, eyes locked on Kody, cutting through every defense with surgical precision, her tone icy and unwavering as she challenges him on every perceived betrayal, every hidden decision, every fractured promise, and Janelle's nervous gestures betray the storm inside, her hands fidgeting as she silently processes revelations that shake the foundation of her trust, while Mary, usually quiet, now speaks with clarity and force, exposing the emotional manipulations and subtle betrayals that have lingered in the shadows for years. And right here, the suspense and emotion are so intense that viewers are completely glued, hearts pounding, unable to tear their eyes away from the unfolding drama. The prosecutor introduces the final pieces of evidence, letters, recordings, and documents that paint a full picture of hidden alliances, secret conversations, and private grievances. Each revelation escalating tension and forcing Kody and the wives to confront truths they had long avoided, and just when it seems the emotional storm might reach its peak, a surprise testimony from a former family confidant changes everything, revealing motives, misunderstandings, and hidden acts of loyalty that reframe the entire narrative, causing gasps, whispered judgments, and tears to ripple through the courtroom. This is the ultimate retention moment. Every viewer feels the emotional weight, desperate to see the resolution and the fallout. Kody's defenses crumble under the combined force of revelations, accusations, and heart-wrenching confessions, while Robin's tears flow freely as she delivers her final plea. Christine's sharp words strike like lightning. Janelle's expressions flicker with conflicting emotions, and Mary's voice cuts through with haunting clarity, exposing the subtle betrayals that have gone unnoticed. As the judge listens, her gavel poised to render decisions that will irrevocably change the family dynamic, and then comes the climactic confrontation. Kody must face the culmination of years of hidden truths, choices, and mistakes, and the wives must confront their own roles, alliances, and desires. Each emotional beat a crescendo, each revelation a shockwave, and at this exact moment, the audience is pulled to the edge of their seats, hearts racing, desperate to see how love, loyalty, and betrayal will resolve. The courtroom erupts as final statements are made, tears and anger blending, voices trembling, whispers echoing, every emotion amplified as the family struggles to define what remains of their bonds. And in the aftermath, Kody stands humbled, the wives transformed by confrontation, revelation, and clarity, and as the judge delivers a final note on accountability and future decisions, now we want to hear from you. Which wife do you think handled the courtroom drama best, and who do you believe was truly honest through it all? Leave a comment below and let your opinions be heard. This is your turn to chime in on the saga that's had us all on the edge of our seats.